an adventurer, an Eternian, and an island full of missing castaways, full of dangerous primordials. This is VIII Lacrimosa of Dana. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been working all day, and now it's after work. This is Nintendo Spotlight Pocket Edition, and let's just jump in. Our story begins with Adol set for another adventure. Taken to the seas on his way to Eregia, he's taken on a job as a temporary sailor in return for getting a boat trip to the next area. Unfortunately, this comes to a screeching halt as Captain Barbaros wants to take a change of course to the Isle of Siren. After everything he's heard about ships disappearing without a sign of anyone alive, this is how Adol always gets himself in trouble. He goes along with the plan and gets everyone shipwrecked by an OP jellyfish with insane tentacles. After a fun battle of getting used to the controls of the game, you get capsized, and Adol finds himself woken up on an island without any sign of anyone alive. You eventually find a few castaways, including Captain Barbaros, and you create a castaway village, which becomes your hub world for the duration of the game. From here, the game takes off, where it's up to you and the party members you come across through your journey to find other castaways, solve some crazy mysteries, and oh wait, that's just the first part of the game. Throughout the story, Adol begins to see these visions of a girl named Dana in an unknown city that appears to be more in ancient times. I'll avoid going any further, but the story of this game grows from more than just Adol rescuing castaways and saving his village from primordials. Dana is very much a part of this story and journey as you begin to uncover who she is and what her ultimate destination is. If you play these Memories of Celceta, then you'll be familiar with how this game works. Press A to hack away at enemies, and as you earn more experience and level up, you'll learn new skills to use in battle where you hold R and press the corresponding button you have set for said skill move. Each skill uses up a certain amount of skill points, SP. You can make sure you use it wisely, but in a game like this, as long as you're mixing up some basic hits in between, you'll build up SP meter rather quickly. There are 3 damage types across the 6 characters in the game: Slash, Pierce, and Strike. Slash damage being effective against soft enemies, Pierce damage being effective against aerial types, and Strike damage which works great on armored enemies. Each character has one set damage type, so you're not just battling against enemies as one character, but you can deal higher damage if you use the right damage type. Matching damage types with the right enemy can cause quicker stun or breaks, where the enemy is laid out to receive even greater damage. Defeating a numerous amount of enemies, you'll have built up enough meter in your extra gauge to land an extra skill attack by using the L and R button, which is the only thing I can say didn't always respond immediately in a few of the more stressful battles in the game. You can evade attacks by pressing the L button, and if you dodge just at the right moment, you can land a flash move where your enemies get slower for a brief moment and you can just hack away and just destroy people. You can also press R to block, and if you do it at the right moment of an attack as it's connecting, you can enable a flash guard, which will grant you some invincibility, a bit of SP, and extra gauge will fill as well. Oh, and all your attacks, they become critical hits, so have at it. Learn the timing. I can only stress this enough in this game, between both the flash move and the flash guard. The music in the game just makes you want to keep pushing forward. Although the sadder and more serious moments of the game generally have the same tunes, they all set the tone very well and make me care about what's really going on. The animated cutscenes, although few and far in between, are awesome and beautifully drawn. Battles have an arcadey feel to where every button input reacts exactly how it should, unless you're trying to land extra skills in the most stressful moment of the game. The characters you meet in this game actually made me care about doing the side quests. I know, crazy, right? They may start off as random NPCs, but you begin to learn more about who they are as you complete more of these side quests, and are eventually rewarded well with more than just stat increases after maxing out their approval ratings. Plus, I felt like this was part of my adventure, my story, to make sure these people are all found safe and sound, so we can get off this island for good. You're even treated to nice personal moments with each castaway if you max out their approval rating. Although the game's story is linear, the environments you go through have many hidden and blocked off sections that you eventually can go back to if you have the proper adventure gear, or enough castaways to break down any blocked pathways. And my last pro? The game's ending. What the hell did I just witness? Did I mention there's multiple endings? And on to the Joe-Cons. Oh my god. First thing, I have to stress this because it was the most annoying thing. Raids, 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 raids. They come in the absolute most random, inconvenient, and sometimes scripted points of the game. Now, the scripted points I'll let them get away with because they made sense in the story. But there are ones that pop up as I'm like trying to approach the end of a dungeon, and it's just super inconvenient because I'm like, I know there's a boss right at this next point, and I got a parrot screaming, "Adol, Adol." And like, yeah, I'm almost choking here. I'm dying. I'm keeping that in. I'm not editing that out. Now, although I gave my praise to the side quests, I do have a bit of a love-hate relationship with how they work in this game. I vaguely remember this being a thing in the previous Ys game that I played, but every side quest is timed between short, mid, and long. I, for the life of me, couldn't figure out when the best time to do each quest was, so I ended up just getting through all of them before progressing through the main story in fear of me missing out on the side quests. Because if I progress to a certain point in the story and I get too far in, then my chances of getting to do, let's say, a short side quest could be gone forever. That actually happened, and I screwed myself out of getting a max approval for one of the characters. It was the only thing I found annoying about these side quests, but I get why the system is in place. It's basically to pace out the amount of side quests you have, so that way it never feels like you're overwhelmed with too many tasks and just eventually give up doing any of the side quests if they all just build up there for the end. Another thing I noticed between playing in handheld and dock, and bear with me because this is really weird, but there was a strange frame rate dip early on as you're loading from the text conversations back into regular gameplay. This only happened in dock mode. Handheld was totally fine the entire time. And more importantly to note, this only happened in like the first 4 to 5 hours of the game. The rest of it was totally fine. It wasn't anything that was game breaking by any means, but it's something I have to point out for the sake of someone wanting to pick this version up of the game. It would happen as you load up, and then as soon as it like finished loading up as you're like making the first few steps, it would like jank for a bit and then just play smooth. The only thing I could think of that stopped this from happening as I got into the 4th and 5th hour was me exploring the map and just having the game load up that map. I noticed that it stopped happening. It might have happened maybe once or twice, but after that, it was just completely fine. The game played smooth both in handheld and dock mode. And again, this only happened to me in dock mode. And I do have to point out, as a con, I guess, there was this one weird bug where I started to repeat level ups, where I would repeat level 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. In that sequential order between all of my party, they would repeat level ups and not increase a number for, I guess, a duration of that game. And then once I shut it down and I played it the next day, it registered like the proper levels and the stat increases and whatnot. It was the weirdest thing that I ever experienced in an RPG game. There were also 2 cutscenes that locked up. However, as soon as I hit the home screen, I went back into the game. Like, I didn't quit or anything. I just hit the home button and then jumped back into the game. It played the cutscene again. Like, it continued right where it froze up and locked up. I don't know what the issue was there, but apparently if it happens to you guys, just know, hit the home button, jump back into the game, and it should work. Here we go, my final thoughts. There's a reason I spent 50 hours trying to get as close to 100% as I could for this spotlight. This is the action RPG I personally have been waiting for since it was announced for Switch, and it delivered. From the balancing of the story between Adol and Dana, to the awesome boss battles and in-depth story, this game rewards you for everything you do in this game. Just like previous Ys games, this game will reward you for going out of the way to complete side quests, finding treasure boxes, and even upgrading your weapons fully before getting to the next weapon tier. And I can't stress enough, pro tip, do the side quests, they are worth it. The North American version of this game also gets additional story of Dana and where she comes from, what's happening, what's going on there. I'm trying to say this as vague as possible without spoiling anything. It is absolutely worth to go through. Unlike when I played Memory of Celceta, I felt like I played with every character with pretty equal time. Although I will say my monster team for the second half of this game ended up being Ricotta, Dana, and Lashia. Or because I felt like the story made sense to play as Dana than Adol at times. That just goes to show the storytelling in the second half of this game really does get good, and it hits home. This may be Adol's journey, but it's Dana's mystique and her story that unfolds that keeps this game going. which is why Ys 8 Lacrimosa of Dana is this week's Nintendo Spotlight. You can find it on Nintendo Switch Tuesday, June 26th, digitally, physically, and there's still collector's editions available over on the NIS website. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys plan on picking up Ys 8. If you're waiting to see more gameplay, I'll actually be doing a New Game Plus playthrough of this over on twitch.tv/joeafterwork. So if you want to check it out, I'll be over there playing this game. And if you enjoyed what you saw here or listened to here, give it a like, share it with your friends, hit that sub button, let them know what I do here. I talk about video games after work, we spotlight all the weird stuff on Nintendo Switch, or I guess awesome stuff to me personally, but you know what I'm getting at. This is Joe clocking out. And until then, take care. Love y'all.